Welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show on 94.7 The Pulse. Music, interviews, news, and, well, Two Blokes Chatting. Now, here are the two blokes.
We've got someone special on the telephonic device, Robert, and you are going to do the duties and introduce her. If you
We have. We've been talking a lot about health lately, and it was an opportunity for me to talk to a friend of mine from the hamlet of Inverleigh.
Sorry, just wind the clock. You got friends?
Yeah, I've got two.
Extraordinary.
And one of them's on the line. And this lady has been through the battle of cancer and is now doing something about raising funds and making people's lives easier for anyone else who's has to deal with the horrible thing. And there's a great Australian fundraiser called the Shitbox Rally.
Oh, come on, Rob, keep it tidy.
Sorry. Where people get in old cars, drive around, have fun, make money, and raise awareness. Which
is that what you're doing when you come into the studio every day? I've seen your car. Yeah. You're raising money.
I have indeed.
Oh, wow.
Don't pick on the Commodore. Jane Crook, she's from Inverleigh. She's doing the Shitbox Rally and she's raising awareness. Jane, good morning and welcome to the Two Blokes Chatting radio show.
Morning, Rob and Neil. How are you going?
Going very well, thank you, Jane. Thank you for being part of this circus that we do on a Saturday morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, it's very good, and it's an important thing you do, and I know that you're very passionate about it. Let's go all the way back to put some real foundation to the passion, and that is your own experience. And many people listening this morning will have either been through it or know someone who has and has come out to tell the tale on the other side. Jane, tell us about your experience and what it's meant to driving your passion now.
Yeah, back in 2012, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was the HER2 positive breast cancer, which was a particularly nasty one at the time. And my first grandson had only just been born, so it was a mixture of emotions of I have this to deal with, I want to see my grandson grow up. So I would say fortunate. I was living in Brisbane at the time, and the Mater Hospital in Brisbane had their own women's breast cancer unit. So I had a really good oncologist. Within a couple of days I was in hospital. They had taken out the lump, and then I began some chemotherapy. And, 9 months of chemotherapy, another 12 months after that of Herceptin infusions. And I'm here to tell the story. So, yeah.
It seems to me, having been incredibly fortunate enough not to have been touched by cancer personally, someone close to me has in fact gone through a similar journey to what you went through more recently. The overwhelming emotion that they described to me was, this thing, it doesn't happen to me, it happens to other people. Is that a bit where you were to start with?
Yeah, I was. I guess for about 24 hours I was in shock when I first got the diagnosis. Again, fortunate enough that I had a lot of really good people around me at the time who were supporting me, but also the confidence that I had in the team, the medical team that I had in Brisbane too. But yeah, the emotional stuff was really hard. Somebody had told me about Breast Cancer Network Australia, so I jumped straight away onto their website. They've got amazing resources for people going through this. And yeah, it was just great to have all of that support as well, but the emotional was really hard.
Jane, on that exact theme, if you go through a stage of thinking, well, cancer happens to other people, it has now happened to you. You've got a very bubbly, positive nature, but in the back of your mind, do you sort of wake every morning with a fear of could it be back or could it be somewhere else? Has it changed the way you approach life?
Look, it has. I actually now live for the now, if you want to call it that. So, make sure that I ground myself every day and enjoy what's happening every day, and look at the positives in your life. That's the biggest thing, I think. Try not to let that come into your mind that it could be back. And of course, every little ache and pain that you get, or you think straight away, oh my God, is that back again? But yeah, look, just if you've got a really good GP, you trust your GP. You go to your GP, they help you through that part as well and help you to investigate that. Perhaps it isn't cancer. It might just be something that's easily treatable, or yeah.
And we've spoken to experts in prostate cancer last week or the week before, whenever that was. We've spoken to people about other forms of cancers as well. And I think, again, being a complete and utter novice, thankfully, that it hasn't happened to me, I would have thought knowing that you've got it is better than not knowing that you've got it, if you know what I mean. Putting off the test because I might find out that that's what's going on. At least that way you can deal with it.
Yep. And that's right. That's true. The minute that you feel something's wrong, and you trust your own body. If things are not feeling right, then maybe they're not right. You can check them out, and that's where your GP is really important too. That you go to a GP that you trust, and they help you to sort through that stuff. My cancer in particular, I was not very vigilant in checking myself, as women should do. Every month they need to make sure that they do the self-breast examination. I hadn't done that. I actually saw it in the mirror, and it was a dimple. So once I saw that dimple and I felt it, it was already 2 centimetres. So, I should have been more vigilant, and that is why I've become so passionate about raising funds for cancer research as well, and putting it out there. I mean, my Facebook page is covered with all of this information on breast cancer and self-examination and being vigilant, but that's what you need to do.
Because I think the bowel cancer thing has been amazing in so much as, anyone who's over 50 gets that test in the mail. That, people who say, oh, no, I noticed some blood, so I just thought it was hemorrhoids, brackets, I hope like hell it's hemorrhoids. They're potentially letting something tick away in the background there, I didn't mean in the background, that's an unfortunate choice of term, but, that you need to go and get it tested, because then you can do something positive and sensible about it, I would have thought.
Absolutely. You need to be proactive.
That's a good word. I like that word.
So Jane, there's 2 drivers for you. One is the awareness. You've spoken about that, and then we know that there are wonderful people doing wonderful research, but it comes at a cost, and there are so many ways you can donate support. But the Shitbox Rally, it sort of suits your personality. But how did you first get into it?
Oh, a really good mate, Linda Smith. Ralph and Linda Smith are good friends of ours in Inverleigh. They have done the Shitbox Rally for a couple of years in a row, and one night at our local, Linda and Ralph were saying that they weren't going to do it anymore, or Ralph was saying they weren't going to do it anymore. So then Linda turned to me and she said, we can do it, we'll do a girls' one. And so we became Boobs and Baileys, so that gives you an indication of what our favourite consumption was at the pub at the time. And we managed to raise 14,000, I think. That was this year. We did that in March, and that's amazing. So the Shitbox Rally began with a guy named James and his sister who unfortunately lost both parents to cancer. So in 2012, they actually started the Shitbox Rally, and it now runs 4 times a year. So Pete and I, my husband and I know when you interviewed us earlier this year, Rob, that Linda and I were saying we were hoping to do it again if our husbands would let us. And as it turned out, our husbands will let us, but they both want to come along with us.
Yeah, so that
sounds like too much fun.
Yeah, that's
can't
sort of
be
like
going out and having fun without your husband.
Yeah,
what's
correct.
going on there?
So Linda and Ralph will be doing it next year in April with Pete and I, my hubby and I. So now we're on the fundraising trail. We need $5,000 to kick it off.
Hey, are you having a girl's car and a boy's car, but still go together?
No.
No, it's going to be romantic, Rob.
Sorry.
You can't hold hands with your wife if she's in the other car.
I don't know. You spend...
Yeah, I can. Sorry, I think there'd be a lot better conversation with Linda and Jane than.
No, fair enough.
Anyway, it's important that we get a starting number of 5,000. So let's get into the next phase then. Well, first of all, when is the rally actually happening? When are you planning to jump in the car and head off, and where do you go?
Okay, so we April 16th, I think it is, next year. So we start from Adelaide, and we drive up through the centre and then head across to Perth.
Okay, so it's a fair drive in. What sort of car are you driving in?
We've got a Toyota Ute, a Tech 9, so it's the old farm Ute. As you know, it's got to be a shitbox, and it's not allowed to be worth any more than $1,000.
You should have asked Rob. You could have borrowed his.
We're looking forward to that. But we think the Ute will make it, which is really good. But so we've started our fundraising phase now. So a wonderful friend of mine, Tonya Tribe, who happens to own, she's a local celebrity too, happens to own a boutique, a women's boutique in Geelong and in Werribee. Ton and I will be doing a fundraiser on the 1st of October, and we're calling it Bosom Buddies.
That's a little bit more refined than last year's or earlier this year's method. Yeah, I like that.
Because Rob is very refined, you understand.
Oh, absolutely.
Very much so. The other part about it, the fun you have on it, there's so many more vehicles in the rally, and you go around from town to town, but the reception you get as you go around this wonderful country of ours, it's pretty special, isn't it?
It is. It's just amazing. People, when Linda and I did it earlier this year, people in the country towns that we would go through, or we'd end up stopping and fueling up the cars, they were coming up to us giving us cash donations as well and telling us their stories and what they had been through. So it was, we were just blown away. It was just amazing to know that so many people, or also that so many people had been touched by cancer, either themselves or a close relative or a friend. So it's really important that we're raising these funds. The funds need to be raised so that there's more research into cancer, so that there can be more targeted treatments for people, individualised treatments for people.
And I would have thought these towns would love you coming through for no other reason than you're buying fuel and you're buying a pie at the bakery and stuff. It's obviously helping our regional friends as well.
Look, it is. It really is. And the local schools and CWAs would put on the meals for us as well in the towns that we camped in. So we'd often camp on football ovals, things like that. So they would put on the meals for us. They'd come in and they'd provide us with our breakfast and a little bag for lunch every day. The meal at night when we came in. Yeah, it's really good. It's a great fundraiser, and it's fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, I had a meme come through to me on Instagram during the week. Rob, Instagram's an app on your phone where people put photos and stuff up on them.
Oh, okay.
And that's the mobile phone, not the one that we're talking to Jane on.
Yeah, right.
And it said, it was someone came in and they said, so what's the one thing you take on a camping holiday? And the lady said a 5-star hotel room. That's very much where I am. So sleeping in tents on football grounds and showering in the change rooms? Is that pretty much how it works?
Yeah, with tree frogs and spiders and all that kind of stuff too, which is, I'm not a camping person, so I really loved it while we were doing it, but gee, when we got to Hobart, that hotel room with the shower and the nice soft bed was amazing.
And that bit getting from sort of Melbourne across to Devonport, that would have been a quite damp drive, I would have thought.
Yeah, damp drive, very much so. Yeah, it was a party boat.
Oh.
So we had 250 cars, and the whole ferry was just the Shitbox rally. When we went across there, I think there was one transport truck.
Imagine that poor bloke.
Yeah.
He's gone. Oh, excellent! I'll just drive the truck I'll have a nice snooze on the way across to Tassie, and he's copped that. Imagine getting that.
Yeah, no, I think everyone was relieved to actually have a bed for the night that night. But yeah, we were all celebrating. We were nearly at the end of the rally at that stage. So when we got off the ferry, we drove down to Strawn. That was a football oval again. And then we hit Hobart. But that rally raised over $2.5 million, which was just amazing. And the Shitbox rally overall has raised $38 million since 2012 towards cancer research.
Not to be sneezed at.
No.
I would have thought if I had been the Inspector of Police at Devonport, I may have had a booze bus lined up as the cars came off the aforementioned ferry.
No, we were all very responsible drivers.
And we like to hear that.
Jane, tell us about your fundraiser on the 1st of October, please.
Yep. So the Bosom Buddies fundraiser is the funds. The funds that we raise on the day will be going towards the Shitbox rally. So, and and I should have mentioned that too, that all of the funds raised for the Shitbox Rally go directly to Cancer Council Australia. So the Shitbox Rally crew themselves don't keep any of that money at all. That all goes directly to Cancer Council Australia towards the research. The Shitbox Rally actually, James has a say in where that funding gets directed for the research, so to which areas it gets. So it goes to breast cancer research, leukemia, lymphoma, ovarian, liver, brain cancer, pancreatic cancer, all of those cancers for research. But the actual fundraiser itself on the 1st of October will be having champagne as you come through the door and a little gift bag that's been sponsored by Tonya Tea Boutique and White Lotus Racing Crystals. Sorry, I had to get that plug in.
Naturally, that's fine.
No, you can't mention them. You can't mention those businesses on the radio. That's not allowed. What were they again?
Tonya Tea Boutique in Geelong and Werribee, and my own little business, which is White Lotus Racing Crystals. So the little gift bag will have some goodies in it for each person who comes through the door. They'll be greeted with a glass of bubbly, and then they'll be treated to a delicious high tea, which is put on by Sandstone Cafe. We'll be having raffles during the day, lots of, Ton and I describe that, lots of love, laughter and fun.
And Jane Crook, you do that as well as anyone I know, and it's easy to see why you have been taken up in this, and your own experience sort of adds to it a bit, but now wanting to make a difference for others is pretty special. Linda, the same, and your good husbands who are also involved in having a bit of fun, they do that well, but again, giving up their time and effort to be involved in this and make a difference for others. It is fantastic, and it's a credit to all of you and anyone else who wants to get involved in the Shitbox Rally. Obviously too late this year, but tell people how they can do what you did, and that's apply and be accepted into the rally and go around and have a lot of fun.
Yep, so all you need to do is jump on the website, or you can go on the Facebook page. So Shitbox Rallies have a page. You jump on there and just follow the links to apply to be accepted. So it's a bit of a process, but it's well worth doing. It is well worth doing. Because
a lot of people in retirement like the idea of travelling around Australia, going to places they haven't been before, but why would you not couple it up with something like this? It's the same thing. Meet a lot of wonderful, like-minded folk and also be involved in raising an enormous amount of money. So it seems like a very good idea to me.
It's a great experience. It really is.
And Rob, Facebook is a social media platform that you can also get on the computer and on your phone.
Beautiful.
Okay,
that is good.
So
I've
Jane,
learned a lot today.
So Jane, if someone's listening, I've got to ask the question. You said Tonya Tea Boutique. Is that Tonya Tea, as in her surname starts with T, and it's a boutique, i.e. dresses, or is it a tea boutique, i.e. they sell tea?
Not drinking tea, wearing.
Right. So Tonya Tea is the person's name. Boutique.
Tonya Tribe.
Right, okay, that makes some sense. Just in case people are wondering whether they're going up to buy a dress or a cup of coffee, that's all. If someone wants to come along and spend some time at the fundraiser on the 1st of September, obviously... October. Obviously, the Brisbane Lions supporters will be turning up with a headache because they will have won the premiership the day before. How should they go about getting a ticket to the aforementioned event? Not the grand final. We
do have it on Facebook. So if you go to Pete and I are actually called Boobs and Bikey. So that's our rally car name. Will be Boobs and the Bikey.
We are working blue this morning.
We are indeed.
Hey, this is as blue as we've worked, I think.
So if you have a look for that on Facebook, you can actually find our page, and that will take you through to the Bosom Buddies High Tea.
Okay. First thing that's come up is Boobs and Barleys. That's last year. That's out of date.
Yep.
So we now go for bikies.
And thankfully, Rob is doing this on his own phone and not the studio computer, because we'd get shot if Rob was putting boobs and bikies into the search criteria on the website.
Wouldn't be wanting that.
No, indeed.
You can also get the tickets on Try Booking. So if you search for Bosom Buddies on Try Booking, you'll find us on there as well for the tickets for the high tea.
I don't think that's the right one, Neil, is it?
No, that's bikies and boobs.
Oh, right. Okay, so they've got it back to front.
Rob's now gone off. That's it. I'll be hosting the rest of the show while Rob works his way through Facebook. Jane, we are delighted to have had part of your story and also the story of the Shitbox Rally on the program today. We are even more happy that you have come out the other side of what has been obviously a very trying period in your life, and it's great to see that you're giving something back to the folk who are either going through it or may go through it in the future. So well done you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So remember, try bookings, folks, or go and look for... No, it's boobs and bikies, isn't it? Rob's now brought something up on screen he's now horrified about on Facebook to buy tickets, and all power to you and the team.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today.
No worries.
Absolute pleasure.
Jane Crook there, breast cancer survivor and participant in the Shitbox Rally that's coming up early next year, but the fundraising has started.